Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game 2 on the slate. Are you ready for this? I hope you are. It is a matchup between Mckee, Staten Island Tech. It went out again. Mckee, Staten. All right, it's back. It's back. Mckee, Staten Island Tech Seagulls and the St. Peter's Eagles. Joining me on the broadcast right now is two legends, one returning for the second game of the slate in Coach Danny Lee. And, of course, joining us for the second time is Coach Tim Gannon. We're going to take a break real quick for starting lineups with the Mckee Staten Island Tech Seagulls, and we'll be back with pregame.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for today's quarterfinal. First, for the Mckee Staten Island Tech Seagulls, under the head coach, Charlie Donahue. Sophomore, number 2, Spencer. Sophomore number 3, Isaiah James. Senior number 10, Christopher Bonner. Senior number 20, Nicholas Sihsl. And senior number 45, Dante Thompson. And now here are the starting five for the St. Peter's Eagles under head coach Ryan Woods. Junior number 1, Michael Sihsl. Junior number 2, Katina Martin. Junior number 3, Chanod. Senior number 5, Alex G. And senior number 12, Stephen Bradley.
Well, gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast booth. As I mentioned before, a couple of legends working alongside me today. Danny Lee in the booth and Tim Gannon. Tim, I know this isn't your first time working on a Nobody Cares sports broadcast. Welcome back, brother. I guess you're a glutton for punishment.
Thank you. It's great to be back. It's great to be enjoying the one of the best days of high school sports on Staten Island every year.
Listen, guys, what do you think it's going to take? I'm going to start with you, Coach. What do you think it's going to take for St. Peter's to get off on the hot start?
Well, certainly both coaches are worried about rebounding going in. Both teams have been strong in rebounding. They rely, both teams, on offensive rebounds. So St. Peter's wants to come out with pressure on the guards, try to get Mckee off pace offensively, trying to crash the boards. And they're going to try to basically attack the zones that Mckee loves to throw inside out. They can't just be launching threes. They got to be able to hit both.
Now, I like it. As the teams come out to half court, we're going to get into what Mckee has to do to compete with STP today. But first, it's underway. The Eagles control the tip, wearing all white uniforms with gold and blue stripes down the side with blue numbers. Mckee Staten Island Tech rocking the all black today. The Seagulls with a white trim and green numbers.
Mckee coming out in 2-3 zone.
Here's a long three from Tree to start the game. It is no good. Mckee comes up with the board.
And that was one of the keys for Mckee. I think they're going to sit in a lot of different zones, variations, and force St. Peter's into jump shots.
Well, here we are on the other side of the ball. Looking now, this is 45 shooting the ball from way downtown. I have a problem because that man is not on my roster. And back across the action, this is Bradley left side.
Oh, yeah, Dante
like
Thompson.
Oh, I get it. He changed his number. Thank you.
Yep, changed from 23 to 45. Chi on the baseline. First bucket of the game for St. Peter's, 2-0. Nice drive by Alex Chi on the baseline.
Love to see it. He's a captain on this squad, and we intend to call that number a lot today. Back on the other end, half-court offense being run right now by the Seagulls. This is Sihsl with it running the offense. Kicks it left side to the other guard. Running into the paint, he's fouled. So Danny Lee, back on the broadcast, tell me, what do you think McKee's got to do to get in this game and stay in it?
They have to really sit in a variation of zones. They have to rebound. They have to rebound the basketball. And when they get opportunities like that, shots, they're going to have to make shots because Quadira is the best shot blocker probably on Staten Island inside. So they're going to have to hit a lot of perimeter jump shots to stay in the game.
the foul!
The first 4 minutes of this game are very important for Mckee. If Peters gets comfortable with the attack, if they're really moving the ball offensively inside and out, it's going to be a lot tougher on Mckee. Mckee needs to score in these first few minutes, and they need to prevent what just happened, which is getting the ball inside to Martin.
That's a rare missed free throw from Martin, and back down the other end, layup won't go. Second chance opportunity, no. Eagles come up with the board, bring it across the timeline. Sihsl with it. Kicks it out to the guard, thought about a three in the corner, now drives baseline. Good defense here from the Gulls.
Good drive by Munson, didn't get to finish. Mckee had a good layup opportunity. They got to make those.
Oh, finally the Seagulls find themselves on the board. 4-2.
1-2-2 Dragonfly. Coach Donahue likes to call it. It's their staple. They've been running it for years. Nice weak side cut by Alex Chi. Reversal from Quadir Martin. Quick timeout by Coach Donahue.
Coach Charlie Donahue wants to talk about it, and we want to give a big shout out to Charlie. Do you understand he's the president of this year basketball league, and he's done a fine job bringing it back here.
Yeah, he's taken over for Coach Kasha, who followed up from Coach Raffanello for so many years. So the league has always had great leadership, and now with Coach Donahue taking over this year, he's really trying to bring the tournament back from COVID and also make it an exciting destination for kids to come out to support their team.
And Dan, you had mentioned at the start of the broadcast 2 legends. Well, really, one big legend right here. So Coach Gannon with his 6 championships. When I was in high school, it was the late 90s when they were at their forefront, and they won 4 in a row. And 6 out of 7, I think, Coach, that you went to the finals. So it's an honor and a privilege to be in the booth today with you, Coach.
Thank you, Dan. I had a lot of good players.
Back to the action. The Seagulls trying to cut into a 4-point deficit they face early on. Bonner with it up top. He's double-teamed. Ferocious defense from the Eagles and a takeaway. They give to Martin. All the way to the basket. Count it, and the foul.
And that right there is the example. Sihsl on the double team, they get the turnover, and then they get the easy basket. Mckee really needs to force St. Peter's into scoring in the half court rather than get these easy transition baskets.
Yeah, very similar, Dan, to what we saw in the first game with Susan Wagner. If Susan Wagner's going to get out in the front court, St. Peter's is the same. They got Munson, they got Sihsl, they got Chi, Bradley, and even Quadir runs the floor very well. They want to get out in transition.
Well, it's a 9-2 ball game now. Mckee trying to find some momentum, and a traveling violation here at the charity stripe. It's going to take a little bit to settle down. We talked about this in the first game, right? Because these players, they've never played in the Staten Island High School League tournament before. Most of them haven't. If they did, they were a freshman when they did play. So this is a lot of nerves to start.
And remember, they haven't played each other during the season. So, you know, it's a second game in a row with a Catholic versus a public, and they're not playing during the season. So it's you're playing
it's all
players
brand new.
Right, you've never seen before.
Now back down the other end, a 3 fired from the corner, won't go. Offensive rebound here for the Seagulls. And they will not be able to set up as another traveling violation called this time against Daniel Oyel. I'll be back with you.
Nick Senhouse is doing a really good job inside so far for the Seagulls. 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, put back layup. Nice shot by Chris Bonner. He's got to continue to take those if they're going to stay in the game and pull off the upset.
Deep 3 from downtown, head on for the Eagles, won't go. MSIT comes up with the board. Pushing it left to right now. Trying to set up their offense, feeding it to the small forward in the paint, comes up empty. Chi pushing, gets it to Bradley into the paint. Everybody touching the ball on offense. Sihsl fires a long 3, won't go. Chi, second chance, no. Martin cleans it up on the third.
Great activity by Martin on the offensive glass. Sihsl, Munson are great in transition. Anytime they touch the ball, they're looking to push.
She is just everywhere right now on defense, not giving the opposition an inch to work with.
But Chi is just relentless. I mean, he's their top defender. He normally gets their top scorer on the other team, and he has just really come to this game with a tenacity. There you see the great baseline drive. So he's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Coach Donahue with his second timeout in the first 5 minutes of the game here.
My man came out doing it on both ends, Coach, defense and offense. First time out of the game brought to you by our friends at Flagship Brewery. Want to give a big shout out to our friends down there at 40 Minthorn Street. They have been a proud supporter of the Nobody Cares Sports Network since the jump. Alumnus of St. Peter's High School, so you know they wanted to be involved in this game.
Yeah, Matt McGinley actually think he hit the game-winning shot in the first tournament, 1993. You got Jay Sykes there as well down at Flagship.
Now, I'm going to say this right now, and this might sound crazy, but my good friend B.J. Mack once said that Matt McGinley had one of the sweetest jump shots he's ever seen. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to believe you, B.J. Mack. That's a bold statement to say. They do a lot for the community. A big shout-out to those guys.
Yeah, for sure. McGinley name, obviously his grandfather, Jack, legendary coach at St. Peter's High School for all those years. Great start so far, coach, for St. Peter's. You can't ask for anything better. They got out quick in transition, got Martin a couple touches underneath, and he saw the ball go through the basket. It got an N1 opportunity.
Right, I think that's the key, that he's active on both ends. He's clearing the boards. I think McKee's misses underneath. They've had some nice opportunities underneath, and the misses then just fuels Martin, and it fuels the fast break, and that's when Peters becomes real tough. Antonio Morello in, another defensive killer for St. Peter's, has now entered the game.
Good pass here and a good entry into the paint. That shooter is fouled. Chris Bonner is going to go to the line here and shoot two. They desperately needed to slow this game down. It seemed like it was really just going in the Eagles' direction. Good opportunity here to get points clock stopped.
And you know, you hate to burn two timeouts early, but when you come out of a timeout like that and run a set like Coach Charlie just drew up, and they were able to get to the rim, then it's worth it. You know, you stop a little bit of St. Peter's momentum, you run a great set, and now Bonner gets the opportunity to make two free throws.
Off the miss coming out the other way. Eagles have it. 13-3. Bradley fires one from way downtown in the corner. It won't go. Eagles come up with the board.
Bradley's their best three-point shooter for St. Peter's. That one a little quick in the shot clock. I don't know if Coach Woods like that.
The three from downtown is cash. I better learn to say his name eventually. Oyaleha with the bucket. That's a tough one, Coach.
You did that better than Oros in the first game, right?
Oh, way better.
You need to come up with a nickname for him.
I know.
See,
Martin has the ball stripped from good D from the Seagulls.
Right there, Senhouse had to go over to help, and that opens up Martin, and they can't allow that. Senhouse really just needs to keep the body on Martin to keep him out of the paint. Otherwise, he'll be down there all day putting in putbacks.
I got to be one of the only broadcasters with a chicken nugget half-eaten on my desk at all times. Here's a three from downtown for the Eagles. Martin gets the board. Second chance opportunity here. Possible jump ball situation. And instead it's going to be a, I don't know what happened, timeout?
No, I think we got a foul on the floor.
No, I think he
he did call timeout.
He called it.
He got lucky there before a jump ball situation possibly called.
That's tough on Mckee. That would be the third timeout for the quarter.
And Coach, I think the player called the timeout.
Yeah.
Coach Johnny did not. He's upset with it. So he only has two left now. He has a 30 and a full for the rest of the game, and we're only 2:25 left in the first quarter. But the last two possessions have been good for Mckee. Got two buckets. And they were able to cut into the lead.
Well, I think at some point, in those timeouts, you get to the point where you just tell the kids you need to play.
Yes.
Stop being scared, as Dan mentioned about, warming up and being nervous, and just go out there and play a little bit. And if they can get a couple of baskets and a couple of stops, they can get back into this.
You guys are tremendous. Back to the action on the court. Seagulls have it. They're down and trying to get back into it, make it manageable. It's a 7-point game right now, so they are well within striking distance. Ryan Woods with wholesale subs coming in right now. We got
He's got
Two
Sihsl
people coming
returning. Sihsl returns back into the game, and Jarrell Monroe coming off the bench, number 13 for the Eagles.
Oh, in and out of the rim.
And that right there, that foul by Morello is what Mckee's looking for. They're trying to get some foul trouble for St. Peter's, try to wear them down a little bit, try to drive on them. So far, Martin's been able to avoid everything, but they're trying to get some fouls and get some easy points, as Dan mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, Coach, because they want to slow the game down defensively, but with their guards, Coach Donahue's guards, they're quick. They want to get out and run if they get a rebound.
James slips in the paint, and it looks like he might have slipped on a wet spot, but the ref has no remorse. That's a travel.
So now this is an interesting lineup for the Eagles with Morello and Sihsl in the game, two point guards, so they had two very, very good ball handlers on the floor.
Back on the other end, 1:30 remaining here in the first quarter. Martin has the ball stripped yet again in the paint. Seagulls are showing fantastic defense against Martin, knowing they have to play him strong, but Bradley, that's a bad man right there.
Bradley's very dangerous on the baseline, not just because of his shooting ability. You saw him make a great drive and bounce past the Quadir and then a drive and score in the lane.
Here's a three from downtown, off the mark. Sihsl hit the deck hard here.
Yeah, nice push by Sihsl in transition. Was able to get to the line for two.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, when they shot a brick for the three, it goes off hard, which gives them a long rebound and allows Peters to get off and running to the races on the fast break. And every time that they've forced Peters to slow it down by scoring or by a basket underneath, McKee's been much more effective defensively. Coach Downey is going to have to kind of figure that piece out today.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to try to get some offense inside, Coach, even though I know Martin is a great shot blocker, maybe try to get him in foul trouble. If they're going to continue to take long jump shots, it's going to be long rebounds.
Well, we're under a minute to go here in the first quarter. It's a 10-point lead for the Eagles. And a kick out now. Guard being hounded by Clancy. And his teammate G cheering him on off the bench. 15 on the clock. The move into the paint with the left hand. What a move!
Tough shot by Bonner.
Great shot by Bonner going to the left hand. St. Peter's going to hold. Coach Woods screaming to hold for one shot here to end the quarter.
15 seconds on the clock. Martin passes it back to Sihsl. Sihsl, the floor general. Typical offense for the Eagles, making sure everybody touches it with perimeter passing. Now Bradley gains access to the lane, and a travel is going to be called here against Jarrell Monroe with 2.3 seconds to go in the first quarter. Seagulls have to hurry, throws it up at the buzzer, and it comes up short. So not a bad first half. If you're the Seagulls, you're definitely in the game but can play better. And if you're STP, how do you feel?
I mean, if you're St. Peter's, you got off to a 13-2 start. You were happy with it. Now the Seagulls have crept back a little bit and turned it from an 11-point game to an 8-point game. So the last half of the first quarter, I think MSIT has to be happy.
Yeah, I think that they're pushing Martin around a little bit on the defensive end to try to get him. He, as we said in those first 2 minutes, he was so comfortable. He was attacking the boards. And the key, I think, is to get Peters to shoot from the outside solely and hope that they miss. They're great shooters. If they're hot, it's a long day. So if they get a couple of misses and you can limit their transition points, all the better. But offensively, Mckee definitely has to settle down more and either attack and drive and try to get around Martin or just work the ball and get some open jump shots.
They're certainly more than capable of not only getting back in this ball game, but winning this ball game.
100%. It's all about the tempo of the game. Like Coach said, if Mckee can slow Peters down in their offense and get them into a half-court set more, If they can take advantage now at the beginning of the second quarter with Martin on the bench and score some points inside, they can get right back into this and make it a closer game.
Love to see it. 16-8's our score. The Eagles with the lead. Seagulls control possession. It's a battle of the birds. Wherever the Chinese bookie is, he would love this right now.
So St. Peter's has gone 2 or 3 people into their bench, Coach. I know you've coached a lot of, as you said, talented teams, deep teams at Curtis. Was one of your philosophies trying to go to your bench early in a game like this?
Well, you definitely want to get them into the game as early as you feasibly can. I think a lot of it depends on the tempo of the game and the game plan against the opponent. But he's certainly, Coach Woods is going to the bench, getting more kids involved. And there's one right there hitting a 3 that you wouldn't expect. So,
Mike Quinones, number 25.
Yeah, just banged one from downtown. Made it look easy in the corner, too.
There's a lot of action underneath with both teams pushing and trying to establish. The refs kind of letting them play it out.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe because Coach Woods knows he's going to see more zone than usual. Quinones comes in, first thing he does is take the 3 and nails it. Jarrell had a really nice shot from the elbow that he missed.
Wow! The 3 from the corner.
Yeah, Bradley right in his face.
Yeah, Bonner's come to play. He's ready to go. Great drive to the rim and a corner 3 so far.
Hasn't taken him any time to get warm. He walked in this gym hot. And a beautiful pass in the paint from Bradley.
And that's where I think Peters traditionally, and certainly so far, is always outstanding. When they drive and the defense rotates over, they're exceptional at finding the open man. And if you don't adjust and rotate defensively, they're going to hurt you.
Good pass here into the paint from a newcomer just checking into the game. And possible turnover as the ref is going to say last touch by the Eagles. No, by Mckee. It will be Eagles basketball.
Yeah, so for the Seagulls, number 33, Lou Hingston, 6'7" sophomore. He just caught the ball there on the baseline, tried to make the pass out to the corner. But very nice skill set. Coach Donahue loves his upside.
6:30 remaining here in the first half. Eagles working the ball around the perimeter. Looking for the open man. Spisto works around a high screen. Gets into the paint. Good extra pass to Monroe. Go.
And again, great patience there by Spisto. He held the ball until defense rotated over, and then he got the ball into the big guy inside.
Well, looks like Kadir Martin's rest is over as he walks to the scorer's table to get ready to come back in.
Yeah, and they got Chi on a reach there. But Spitzo, to your point, Coach, he just plays at a great pace. He's your traditional point guard, getting everybody involved. And just change the pace, change the direction. He's very good at it.
And I think that's part of we were talking about the substitutions. I think Coach Woods is trying to get everyone in, but also get rest. Because when you look at the half-court defensive pressure, especially on the ball, they're very active. They're moving. So he's trying to sneak in the rest when he can.
Seagulls with it now. Nice crossover and an offensive foul called. Referee's going to say that Isaiah James pushed off with his arm.
Team for a foul in game 4 to Seagulls number 2, Tyree Spencer.
.550 to go here. Second quarter of action. 23-11. Eagles with a 12-point lead. Munson has it. Right elbow, stops, pops, and it's wide left.
So these are those situations where now Mckee needs to come down and get some points in the next few possessions. When they have those stops, as I mentioned, when Peters misses the outside jumper, they need to really be able to score.
Yeah, and Mckee needs number 2, Tyree Spencer, also a sophomore, to get going. He's been one of their leading, I think, second leading scorer behind Bonner on the season.
Looking for anything to drop here. A shot from the right elbow won't go. Monroe comes up with the board, and the Eagles look to push. She has it now. And a foul going to be called against the Seagulls. It's going to go against Bonner.
Foul number 10, Christopher Bonner, his second.
And St. Peter's, as you just see right there, is very good in secondary transition too. So if they're going to hit the guy ahead, they'll get it to him. If not, Spitzo got them right into a set, right into a dribble handoff, and they were able to get the foul.
Good kick out pass. Now Sihsl has it. They'll reset. Plenty of time. 22 on the shot clock. Monroe with it. His back to the basket now. Working into the paint. And he worked into a double team, and they're going to call a foul against the Seagulls.
Yeah, it's a tough one. If he had...
Oh, sorry, Coach. I apologize.
If Aleja had just shifted over and taken that drive full on, he would have gotten the charge, but he took it from the side, and that's always going to be a block.
Well, Tyree Spencer called with the foul.
Had to be impressed with Monroe, though. He's really done some nice things offensively. He's rolling to the basket. He's pounding on the boards. He's been a nice addition off the bench for the Eagles.
And Martin checks in for Quinones. As the second one is true blue for the Eagles. 4:44 to go here in the first half. 25-11's the score. Seagulls trying to claw their way back into this game.
McKee's going with dribble handoff action.
Nice stop, pop, and it just won't go. Working quickly the other way. Sihsl with it. Kicks it right to Chi. Extra pass to Martin. He has it blocked, but they call a foul. He'll head to the line for his third trip today.
Driving and dishing. St. Peter's doing a great job of getting those chippies inside. The outside shots are certainly not falling for them the way they can, but they're doing a great job on the drive. I think Mckee really needs to think about tightening up the zone a little bit and forcing them on the outside, and then making sure they don't allow the Eagles to rebound.
And talking about our three referees today, William Eason, Rex Dovolani, and Connor Cray doing a great job. Shout out to the referees in our league, in not only the Staten Island High School League, the CHSA and the PSAL. But that's the guy that's got to get going for MSIT, Spencer.
And as soon as Martin leaves his man, whether it's Senhouse or Thompson, they've got to rotate better. Martin's just leaving to go block, and they're not doing anything to capitalize on it.
Intercepted by Bradley. A beautiful pass to Chi the other way. Counted in the foul. I mean, things get quickly out of hand around here, don't they?
I mean, it's almost a mirror image of the first game. Peter's getting out in transition just like Wagner did. Good steal by Bradley and kick ahead to Chi.
And I also think there's a certain ease when we talk about nerves. You know, Peters plays obviously a very tough schedule with CHSAA, AA across the city, and they're used to these types of big games with crowds. And I think when you get into this type of situation, I think the nerves have hurt MSIT a little more.
Yeah, Coach, how about, Coach Ryan Woods, not only his first Staten Island High School League tournament game, but his first year at the helm at St. Peter's High School, replacing Charlie Driscoll, and before that, Rich Lagrada. How can you speak upon not only Coach Woods and the job he's doing this year?
Listen, I'm so old, I go back to Coach Rupert in the 80s at St. Peter's. So, listen, it's a great tradition. Ryan's done a great job. He said to me the other day, he's enjoyed his first year. He loves these kids. He really likes this team individually as players. Being the varsity coach, he described it as a lot of moving parts, and I joked and said, tell me about it. But he's enjoying it. Obviously when you're within the program as a JV coach, moving up, it's a lot easier. But he's done a masterful job in his first year.
And a former Jakes Award winner, and I know, Coach, you're heading the Jakes committee and doing a great job with it.
Good pass. Can they capitalize? Oh, a wild shot with the scoop underneath goes. Nicholas Senhouse. That'll make a highlight reel. If we can make a highlight reel here at Nobody Cares, that'll be on it.
And when we talked about some of the keys beforehand, I think it's working against us I think Peters is going to get Mckee Staten Island Tech into some foul trouble that may haunt them in the second half because of these drive and dishes that they're doing.
And you saw the speed of St. Peter's, coach, in transition. MSIT gets a bucket, and within 2 to 3 seconds, St. Peter's is at the rim. And great, Jarrell's at the foul line for 2. He makes the first.
Second one is cash as well. So a 31-13 lead here. 3:45 to go. And look at this, boys. St. Peter's in a full court press.
And this could work to MSIT's advantage, like right there.
Beautiful pump fake.
They get some free baskets if they're able to break the press. I'm a little surprised by the press, only because their half-court defense has been so effective, and they've really pushed MSIT out of their half-court offense. But Coach Woods is a lot smarter than me, so.
And he used the timeout. I think that was one of the things he wanted to go over, is setting up the press. But to your point, Coach, you leave Martin all the way in the back of the red press, and now he didn't pick up the foul there, but now you get the 2-on-1 coming at him. He's such a good defender that he'll probably block the shot, but you're putting him in a situation where he may get a foul.
And now here we go. Off of a miss, 31-13 the score. Sihsl brings it across the timeline from right to left. She has it, sending it over Monroe's way. Now back to Chi, driving in the paint, lays it off the glass. Beautiful move by the captain.
That's what he does best, transition and attacking the rim. Very athletic player, finishes very well around the rim.
Seagulls have it now. Bonner is fouled by Sihsl. We talked about this before, Coach Gannon, about how these two teams were bumping a lot, and the refs seem to kind of be getting it under control here, blowing the whistle a bit more.
Well, listen, both coaches want their teams to be allowed to assassinate the other team, while they don't want anybody touching them on their own. So those of us who have been in this situation understand it. But I think the coaches may have also harped on the refs a little bit to make sure it doesn't get out of control. So.
Are the coaches ever wrong?
Never.
Coach?
I don't know.
I know not in the old days. But.
Oh, the beautiful feed underneath the Martin, who lays it in on a reverse.
Yeah, Kadir very active, which is just fun to watch and to see. He's moving offensively, and what moves a big man often is the fact that he knows he's going to get it.
Yeah, what I love about Quadir, too, is finishes well with both hands. I know he's a lefty, but look right up there. He's finishing. He's shooting with his right hand. The previous layup he made with his right hand. Again, another guy that in transition is going to be very hard for anybody to stop.
The difference really is that St. Peter's defensively is doing much more anticipation and denial of passes, whereas MSIT is reacting. And when you react to a fast team like St. Peter's, you're going to foul them, or they're going to get the easy layup. So I really think they need to kind of change and get a little bit more active in the anticipation side of their defense.
Well, Susan Wagner put up 54 in the first half. St. Peter's looks like they're on their way with 37 with two minutes to go here in the first half.
Bonner with it now. Bradley guarding him. The step back, long two, won't go. This will be an over-the-top foul going against Monroe.
But, Coach, to your point earlier, just the half-court defense of St. Peter's, I know MSIT only has 13 points. They missed a couple chippies near the rim, but just that defense right there by Bradley to force Bonner into a fall-away three-point shot is just they can't. MSIT can't get downhill to the rim.
So number 15 at the line here, Daniel Oyalea. Jim really starting to fill up now. What's the next game on the slate, boys?
Curtis St. Joseph by the Sea, I believe.
Ah, a little north-south action.
The PSAL 2 in Curtis, the CHSA 3 in St. Joe's by the Sea. Should be a great one.
Cross-court pass here received. Munson. Eagles come off empty. Seagulls get the board, and a foul called here against Alex G.
Ole is given great minutes off the bench for Coach Donahue and Coach Red Tripp. A couple offensive rebounds, a defensive rebound there, and he went to the foul line and made some free throws. He's heading back to the line now. Double bonus for MSIT. So St. Peter's and MSIT both fouling a lot in this first half, Coach.
I think there's a issue with the ball went under the stands.
Take it easy under there, man.
We need one of those small 4-year-olds to climb underneath and
The ball literally
retrieve
went
it.
like right where all of my power connection stuff was. I was like, get another ball. What are you doing?
So basically the three of us are talking to no one right now.
Exactly. Let me see if we're still live.
Daniel Elijah on the line shooting a double.
I was still getting plenty of hate mail, so that's got to be a good thing. Back to the action on the court.
Now to game for St. Peter's, number 11, Antonio Morello.
So Oyalea makes a first of 2 at the line. These are the kind of points the Seagulls have to look forward to getting when this clock is stopped. They need every bucket, though, and they missed that one. Munson brings it across the timeline, quickly gets his way into the paint. He's fouled. The basket won't go, but he will be shooting 2.
Foul number 20, Nicholas Senhouse, his second.
A nice drive by Munson to get into the lane, get himself to the foul line. Everybody shooting double bonus the rest of the way in the half.
Well, again, I think Coach Woods, when he spoke to me early in the week, he talked about inside out versus all the zones, and I think he's trying to work it. And obviously with the drives and dishes, they've been successful where the guards know that they have a green light to attack. And since the outside shots don't seem to be hitting like they normally will for St. Peter's, they're going with the drives.
It's 38-16 right now, and they are in cruise control as we approach the end of the first half. It should have been a kick ball. Instead, it's a steal and then a foul against the Seagulls. I'm filing a grievance with the referee.
His second.
Nobody?
It's a little surprising they both missed it.
I mean, this is Nobody Cares Sports. This is why I'm allowed to be like, you missed the cut. It's fine. You guys could disagree. Anyway.
Oh, no, it's a missed call.
Oh, thank you.
We love the referees, and they're allowed.
Oh, we love them.
They're allowed to miss.
If Ray Palmer was here, he'd be on the court right now.
And to Coach Donahue's credit, he didn't even react to the referee. He went to Isaiah James and basically told him, you got to get deeper down into the lane to make a pass. So give Coach credit. Coach Donahue's always great with the referees. Doesn't yell at anybody.
Unbelievable. What does he do with all that pent-up rage? Back to the action. Munson has it. Fires a shot, and he's fouled. Now going to the line as well.
Yeah, it all begins with the tap back by Martin to keep the ball active in the Eagle side. And Senhouse had a box out on him. It just wasn't good enough.
And that's what a lot of the reaching early on, like you said, Coach, getting in foul trouble leads to a foul shooting contest, which we've had on both ends for the last minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yet again, Coach Woods working guys into the game.
Number 23, Maddox LaPierre Jr. coming into the game. So Coach Woods has played 5 guys off his bench so far, so 10 players have entered the game.
And he's going to have fresh legs in the third quarter, which is what you want in this type of game.
Now 41-16 is the score on the board. 1:20 to go here in the first half. This is Scott McCormick in the game for the Seagulls.
So they're face guarding Bonner because they know on MSIT, the one guy that could probably drag them back into this game is a hot three-point shooter, and Bonner can light it up. So St. Peter's, even with players off the bench, are constantly throwing fresh legs at him so that he doesn't have that opportunity to be shooting. They'll let the other guys shoot, but they don't want Bonner getting hot.
That's a great point, Coach, because three-point shooting, is, especially in this era, is what gets teams back into the game. Number 1, McCormick, who came off the bench, can shoot it too for MSIT. I've seen him make 4 or 5 threes in a game.
Second one up is also Cash at the free throw line. 1:11 to go here in the first half of game number 2 of a 4-game slate. Beautiful pass inside. The extra pass to Martin is blocked by a trio of defenders. Outlet the other way. And losing it off his fingertips after it was deflected off an Eagle is Scott McCormick. It'll be Eagles basketball with 56.2 to go here in the first half.
And the refs are back to letting them play a little bit on both ends.
Well, the game came down to a crawl, Coach.
Yeah, Coach Woods and Coach Sihsl were not happy about Martin's drive there to the basket. Thought he got hit.
What a pass, and then down into the entry under the post. A clinic being run.
Nice ball movement by St. Peter's.
James gives it to the big man up top. That's Higginston. Now quickly the other way. Eagles have it, 20 on the clock. They should be slowing up here for the final shot of the half. That's exactly what head coach Ryan Woods tells them to do from the bench. 10 seconds now on the game clock. Givens inside to Martin, lays it up and in with the right hand. Seagulls have to push quickly, throwing it up at the buzzer, and it won't go. The score at the end of one half of play, St. Peter's Eagles 45 and the Mckee Staten Island Tech Seagulls 18. Boys, it was a first half that we saw going one of two ways. And this way, you know, a lot of people could say they saw it coming.
No, listen, I think we've all entered this week with the anyone can win this tournament, who's going to get hot. And I think we saw it in the first game with Wagner, and we're seeing it in this game with St. Peter's. There are two teams that are trying to send a message to everybody right now about who's the hot team, who's the strong team, and certainly St. Peter's, with their domination in the first half and the ease with which they're playing offense and defense, have been impressive.
Yeah, and I thought MSIT, after getting down 12 or 13, cut it to 7, and then Peters responded with a nice run, and now you're looking at, you know, a 20-point disadvantage for MSIT. Coach Donnie will talk to those guys in the locker room. They'll come out fired up in the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Absolutely, all good stuff. We're going to be back in just a second with head coach of the Wagner Falcons, Joe Kasha, who's coming off a victory, you better believe it, in game one. We missed him in the first one, but we won't miss him now. Back in just a moment with head coach from the Wagner Falcons, Joe Kasha. Does anybody care? Nobody cares. Back in a second.
We gotta get skinnier guys, skinnier announcers.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us in the broadcast booth right now, Joe Kasha. Welcome to the booth, brother.
Thank you. Great to be here, and it's great to have the tournament again. You know, we've missed it the last 2 years, and you know, I really feel bad for the seniors, especially last year and the year before. They did not have an opportunity to play in this, and you know, I really feel that they missed it.
Absolutely. How does it feel for you to be back? I mean, we know you've been such a big part of this league. You know, you're the former president of the league. You just retired from it. How does it feel for you to be back in the building and just coaching?
Well, you know what? First of all, I retired because, you know, I'm not getting any younger, and I think it's time to pass the buck to these young studs over here, Danny Lee and Charlie Donahue. You know, they're full of a lot of energy, a lot more energy than I have. So right now I'm just concentrating on coaching my team, and they deserve that too.
Well, you guys had a great win today. We saw Xavier Barrow get his 1,000th point. That's no easy accomplishment.
Yeah, that was, you know what, he's really only got 1,000 in 2 years, because 1 year was COVID, and he only played 5 games his sophomore year. So nowadays, there's a lot of kids getting 1,000, and they've played 3 or 4 years, and he's really done it in 2.
You know what, man? He was a beast from start to finish. Like, we thought maybe, you know, after, you know, you get an accomplishment like that, 1,000 points, take your foot off the gas a little bit, and he just didn't do it. Who are you guys prospectively playing in the second round?
Well, obviously, Peters is a favorite to winning here at halftime. So, looks like we'll match up with them. But, you never know. Crazy things have happened.
All right, so let's get into the coaching angle, Coach.
Oh,
so
boy.
now, what's going through your mind in the last 4 minutes of that second quarter, knowing how fast and effective your team was today versus St. Peter's, who at least in that first half were fast and effective on both ends of the court? What goes through your mind? What are you thinking?
Well,
did you have 30 seconds to enjoy your game before you had to start thinking about the next one?
I don't know about 30 seconds, maybe more like 15. We got bigger fish to fry, whether it's, the semis on Wednesday or our PSAL playoffs. We had a very good team last year, and we got the highest seed ever, number 2 seed in the city. And I'm sure we'll be a top 5. And, we want to go a little further than we did last year, okay? But Wednesday night should be a great crowd. 2 very good teams. They know each other very well. It's a shame that we haven't played each other during the year. I will say this. We have faced them during the summer and the fall league. And we came up a little short back then. So hopefully, we'll fare a lot better this time.
Coach, you've had especially over the last 4 years, phenomenal teams. Even the team, like you mentioned, COVID, the year of the COVID, you had a great team.
We usually don't say that. That's like that. We never say that word. That doesn't exist
the
on our
pandemic.
network. We just lost whatever subscriber I had. But go ahead.
I'm sorry, I apologize. But when we lost that season, I thought that team you had was really good as well.
Yeah.
What makes this team special? Because last year's team was very good.
Yeah, last year was a senior-laden team. We were a lot bigger. I think a little smarter too. This group is more of a helter-skelter. They like to play fast. They like to play quick. Sometimes it's real pretty like today, and then there's other times where, the few hairs I got left in my head, they keep on falling out because they drive me a little crazy. But they love to compete. They hate to lose. The last 2 years, we are now, I think, 47-5 in the last 2 years. So, I'm very proud of that. The kids are very proud of that, and they just like to compete.
Do you find now as you head into both the Staten Island playoffs and the PSAL playoffs, is there the play of one kid other than Xavier that you think is the key, kind of the X factor, that because everyone will be focused on Xavier, and who do you see as that guy or 2 guys that you're hoping have a good tournament here on the island and a good run in the PSAL playoffs?
Well, Coach, it's a team game. Everyone needs to step up. Today we had 5 guys in double figures. It was great balance. But the one guy who we've been missing is Mckee Jackson. And we played 8 games without him this year. And he's a big part of what we do. If he's not there, we don't have the balance of inside, outside. And he's just starting to get his legs under him. He had a bad high ankle sprain. And I kid him all the time. I go, hey, Mahomes had a high ankle sprain, came back in a week. I said, you took 6 weeks. I said, what's going on? He goes, Coach, they have better trainers. He goes, you're the only trainer on staff. He goes, you're not very good.
That's a good point.
Which, Coach, we were here early setting up, and Coach Kasha was taping up 2 or 3 players' ankles, and he turned to me and he said, do you think, Coach K or Rick Pitino or any of these guys are doing that right now? So give Coach even more credit than the X's and O's. He was taping up ankles at 9:30.
There's a lot of hats out here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we really do. And, this group, I think I've gone through $1,000 in Kramer tape, where last year I don't think I taped 1 kid.
It just goes to show you your dedication here. It's not just from, the players on the court, the coaches, the people that run this league. It's a big family environment, and you've been a part of it for years. And just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the league, and good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you. And everyone keeps on saying, hey, you're retiring, you're going out. I go, hey, I'm having too much fun. So I think I'm going to stick around a little bit.
Still coaching, right?
Hey, what else am I going to do? My golf game's not that good.
Somebody has to tape the ankles. So.
Love to have you, brother. Well, thank you for joining us on the halftime show. We appreciate your time. We're going to kick the action back over to the court and show everybody that the teams have come back out and are set for the second half. This halftime show is brought to you by our friends at Windows We Are, 9110 Fifth Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. Don't be afraid to go over that bridge. I'm telling you right now, the Turnbull family will take care of you. They'll pay for your toll. We got custom windows designs. You know, they'll do like installations and repairs. I do the best drops in the business. Nobody could do advertising like me. Check out Windows We Are, the Turnbull family. We absolutely love them. Fantastic halftime show. And a big, big shout out to head coach Joe Costa joining us. We'll be back with second half action in just a second. Nobody cares.
Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks.
This is Chinese Mckee from Nobody Cares Sports Network. You are listening to the live shows from the Studio 64.
That's why.
We're live. Welcome back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. Second half going down. St. Peter's looking to build on a massive 45-18 lead that they have compiled on the heels of two of their starters in Alex Chi and Quadir Martin. Martin with it now. Gives it to Chi. The kick to the corner. Bradley fires a three. In and out.
Very nice play by Coach Woods coming out of the halftime circle. Get a good look for Bradley. Down and out.
And usually when St. Peter's has a strong lead like this, those are the shots that fall. Those are the ones that kill you as the opponent because they're relaxed, they're comfortable, and like you said, they're off a set so that they're typically wide open. And I'm a little surprised because Bradley is such a good shooter that he didn't drain that one.
Bonner called uncharacteristically that time for a travel.
Nice speed by Munson on the blow by Bonner. Bonner tried to recover, hit him in the head.
Munson is so tough with the acceleration. He kind of puts you to sleep defensively where you're playing him, and then he takes that one hard step to drive the ball to the basket, and he's suddenly by you.
Yes, great acceleration on the change of speed.
Munson at the line, made the first and misses on the second. Oh, and a costly mistake by the Seagulls. Can't wrangle a loose board, tips it out of bounds. It'll stay with the white and gold.
And this is where it almost becomes a mental game when you're kind of struggling on all ends, and then you make a little mistake like that, then it gets into your head, and coaches are constantly trying to just get kids to readjust.
Bradley can hit that all day. Mckee very fortunate that that ball didn't drop. Coming quickly the other way are the Seagulls, working from right to left. Stop, pop, missing from 10 feet. Martin gets the board. Looking for help. Oh, a beautiful spin move here. Give back to Martin, who is called for a travel.
Nice spin by Munson and get penetration into the paint. Quadir just bobbled a little bit, couldn't get his footing. Quick shot by Mckee. I know you're down a lot of points. You need possessions to get back into the game, but they got to run some offense here.
And here's Bonner firing a deep three. Won't go. Second chance opportunity lost. as Peters comes up with it.
Senhouse really skied to try to get that rebound.
Bradley tried to do it all himself. Almost did, too. Now back the other way, Tyrese Spencer leading the charge on offense for the Seagulls. He sets up the play, giving it to Bonner. Now passing left, James with it. That ball off Senhouse's face. Seagulls still have it. Bonner fires a deep three, and it's cash.
See, that's better offense. So the ball rotated back and forth 2 or 3 times, and he took the three-point shot with 10 seconds on the shot clock as opposed to 30 on the possession before. Makes St. Peter's work defensively.
She with it now. Goes to send a pass into the paint to Martin, but he's fouled before it can happen.
They were trying to set up the lob pass to Martin, leading him towards the basket, and they had the hold before.
Here's the inbound clean to Sihsl way up top. Stutter steps, kicks out to Chi, fires a corner three off the mark. Rebounded by James. Looking to push quickly. He gets it to Bonner. The extra pass to the corner. Spencer fires a three. Won't go. Second chance opportunity. No. Seagulls lose it.
Good hands by Sihsl.
Right. That's where his hands are always so active on the ball. He'll always get a couple of fouls in these games, but he's so active swiping at the ball.
Excellent perimeter passing led to a Chi miss from downtown. Seagulls have it now. Little stutter step, turn around, fires with the right hand. Tyrese Spencer, the sophomore, getting busy.
And MSIT bringing pressure. Looks like they went into red press 1-2-1-1.
I didn't see a lot of contact there whatsoever, but nevertheless, Dante Thompson called for the foul. I just call it like I see it. That's it. You know, it's obviously somebody's going to meet me at my car after the game. I understand that. That happens every broadcast.
So the one thing with the 1-2-1-1, which I know you ran a lot at Curtis back in the day, Coach, is that you leave that back guy. If they do break it and you don't get that first trap, you kind of leave your back guy most of the times as a big man on an island, 2-on-1, sometimes 3-on-1, and he got left there.
Well, I think that the key for us was always the weak side guard, and I think a lot of times as I watch high school ball, the kids aren't drilled in the importance of the weak side guard when the ball is breaking down the opposite side. They have to be in a full sprint to cover, as you said, Dan, to cover the backside of the big man, and too many times the big men are getting left vulnerable.
Oh, beautiful move in the paint. This is 2 possessions in a row. Tyrese Spencer making his presence known. He misses the shot, but going to the charity stripe to shoot 2.
Yeah, and to that point, Coach, of the weak side guard, oftentimes in that red press, you'll actually see the steal in the front court from the guard, that weak side guard chasing back.
Right.
So Mckee, if McKee's going to stay in that, hopefully they can get into a couple, tips from behind, chase downs, and then get their offense going.
Yeah, you've got to, the kids used to joke that was probably my most common substitution, was when that guard didn't run in a full sprint to cover the backside, because that also, you're coming from behind the ball. That's the steal, as you know, because the kid thinks it's open, and then the weak side guard steps in and grabs that bounce pass, and suddenly the ball's going back your way. So it takes a lot of energy, and the tough thing for MSIT, I think, is they didn't get as many breaks in the first half as St. Peter's did.
Now 46-23. Here's a whistle away from the play. It looks like it's going against number 45 Thompson of the Seagulls. So he's going to look like he's going to take a rest.
So one of the things, I don't know where you stand on this, Dan, one of the things I didn't like as a coach, I always fought against. We had 2 refs, and then we shifted to 3 refs sometimes in this tournament. And it used to throw off, it certainly threw me off, and it threw off some players because they're not used to 3 refs, and suddenly there are calls made, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be made, but they're not made in a 2-man game, and suddenly they're being made in a 3-man game. So I always wanted the tournament to have 2 refs because that's what the majority of the
It
teams
keeps
were
it
used
to what they're used to. I
Yeah,
understand
and
that.
all PSL games are 2 refs, Coach. So to your point that. But you know what, Coach? The next game you'll get to ask all those questions to Rob Bates, our head assigner on the referee for Staten Island High School. He'll be on the game with you for C. Curtis.
Well, he's going to be wrong the whole broadcast because that's what they do.
Martin takes it all the way to the house. Count it, and the foul.
And I think they called an intentional foul there on Bonner. They called an intentional foul on Bonner making no play on the ball. I don't know, Coach. Would you say that's a tough call right there?
That's a tough call only because it's so inconsistent. I've been on both ends of that where they'll say, oh, you know, he was going for the ball. I'm not really sure he was going for the ball. So it just becomes tough because some refs will call it, some won't. But in fairness, he did grab him with the 2 arms.
My question is, and I think what Coach Donahue is arguing right now, is if you called the intentional before, then why did Martin get the continuation dunk?
Well, you can get it. You can have an intentional foul. I mean, I'm assuming he called it on going up. So you can have an intentional foul, a shooting foul,
right,
which is, I guess, what he's
saying it was.
What he's calling.
Yeah, because I think Donahue said the foul occurred way before the shot. But
I guess my point is, in the exact same situation, I've seen harder fouls not called.
Right.
And that's the tough part, I think, on Coach Donahue.
I've never seen an intentional foul that ended in a dunk, Coach. We'll put it as that.
I'm just going to throw this out there. While you guys try and figure out peace on earth, Antonio Morello banged one from downtown. It's hard. It's a hard call.
Well, refereeing is hard.
It's difficult.
And St. Peter's getting into their speed and transition. And before you know it, you look up and they're up 30 points.
Well, this is what they do. For anybody that's unfamiliar, St. Peter's is one of those perennial powerhouses, not only in Staten Island, but for all in New York City. It's been a long time since we've had a city champion here.
Yeah, the 1983 team coached by Howie Rupert, they just honored them for the 40-year anniversary. They honored them a couple weeks ago at St. Peter's High School, led by Greg Pedro, was the star player on that team.
I coached against that team.
Were you at Power at that time, Coach, or Sparrow?
I was at Power.
Power.
First round loss on an over-the-back call. They might have been Coach Mike Dunn. He would know. We went over the back on a foul shot with 2 seconds to go, 3 seconds, one of those just bonehead moves that happens. You talk about a tough call. They made that call. They went down, I'm going to say it was a tie game, maybe 1-point game. And if it might have been Mike, made the 2 shots, and we got eliminated, and St. Peter's went on to legendary
a run where they beat
games.
Power, Memorial, Bishop Lachlan, and Archbishop Malloy. I mean,
Yep.
when you beat those 3 teams, you deserve to be the champions.
Martin has it. Right corner, back to the basket. Everybody wearing black guarding him on defense. Basket won't go, obviously.
Seagulls foul number 20, Nicholas.
But he's going to shoot.
Team 6.
So, Coach, I know you can't comment on individual players because you're the head of the Jakes committee, but we had Barrow in the first game, who myself and Coach Elwell were talking about. Here's another guy who's in contention in Quadir Martin. What parts of his game do you really enjoy while watching him play?
Well, tonight I've liked his movement. It sounds stupid, but, sometimes kids and even adults will discredit height. Because he's big, he's supposed to be scoring or he's supposed to be rebounding. But it takes a lot of effort. So Quadir has really stayed within himself. He hasn't taken bad shots tonight. He's worked the boards. He's been physical. I don't think he gets enough credit for his shot blocking and his altering inside the paint. So I think he just plays a very, very smart game.
A beautiful pass from Munson to Martin.
Lots of big kids can do that, but it's the other things he does that I think really makes him one of the special players on the island in a year that there are so many special players.
And right on cue, he gets the dunk running down the floor.
Into the paint. Nothing seemingly going now for the Seagulls as this one getting out of hand in the third quarter. Martin misses the alley-oop. Sihsl will reset.
And that's where Sihsl is just really an exceptional point guard. Is he got the rebound, brought it out, and he kind of gets them reset and calm down so that they're able to get into that offense. You know, as Coach Woods told me before the game, you know, Michael's got an uncanny ability to find the right guy in the right spot.
And I like that play too, because a lot of point guards would throw that lob and then say, hey, I'm going to go watch and then observe my big man windmiller to throw it down. After he threw it, he ran right to the weak side box. He knew if there's a missed layup or a missed dunk, he's going to get the rebound, and he did.
Well, 2 minutes remaining here, third quarter. Mckee working around the top of the key. Now they gain access to the paint. 3 Eagle defenders there to make sure that bucket doesn't go. Monroe throws it up. It's intercepted by a Seagull. Now coming back the other way. The extra pass, 2 extra passes. A little bit too overzealous. Eagles have numbers coming back, and this is going to be a charge.
Yep. Good job by James stepping in and taking the charge. You love the kids who are willing to throw their bodies like that in a 30-point win or a 30-point loss.
Coach, the only piece of paper in our locker room that's up is the I call it the charge chart. So I just track charges on the season. And a shout out to Jalen Alejandro, one of my players who's taken over 50 over the last 2 years. So we value that more than anything.
Amazing.
More than you putting the ball in the basket. We value you giving up your body for the team.
Working around the ball now. Beautiful feed into the paint. Oh, Dr. Tyrese Spencer, the sophomore. This is a player that I'm going to like to watch over the next couple of years, thinking about him playing in the tournament for 2 more years.
Yeah, he's got a lot of talent, Tyrese. IS 51 graduate in middle school.
Sihsl loses the handle. Good job here from James diving for the loose ball, and a timeout called by Charlie Donahue of the Seagulls.
See, Isaiah James, same thing. Sophomore diving on the ball in a, 30-point loss in the third quarter, and he's diving on the ball. He's making those types of plays that says the game matters to me, how I play, and you gotta respect, especially on the MSIT side when you're having a rough day, the kids who are still doing the right thing and playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. And
as you said, Dan, you'd been saying the whole day the tournament is back, so a lot of these student athletes hadn't played in the tournament, but especially for the younger guys, he has 3 sophomores on the court right now. He's got a junior, and he's got 2 juniors and 3 sophomores on the court. So you're looking into MSIT's future right now over the last, say, 9 minutes of this game.
Well, way to add to the drama, I tell you. We got Danny Lee, we got Tim Gannon, 2 of the best basketball minds in the business joining us on this broadcast booth. High praise coming from Danny Chanod here at Nobody Cares Sports, broadcasting to you live all day from the beautiful Petrides Athletic Complex here on the North Shore of Staten Island. Game 2 of 4 right now with 55 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Mckee down big, but showing lots of fight. That's a beautiful fadeaway jumper from Lou Hingston, the sophomore.
Great touch by Lou right around the rim. Those are the things that Coach Donahue praises him about, and he's raving about him, the future, being a sophomore, 6'7", with that type of skill set.
And you can't coach 6'7". When 6'7" walks through the door, you just thank your lucky stars. And
can't teach height, right, Coach?
Right, can't teach it.
That's so funny. And the shot up at the line. No, Bradley gets the board, throws it up, can't connect. And there's been a lot of hacking taking place in the last couple of minutes. Referee's doing a good job of calling the fouls.
And Dan, just as I mentioned in the first game, the Susan Wagner, some of the guys on the floor for Susan Wagner, like Lewison, were part of a JV City Championship team last year. This St. Peter's team, you have LaPierre right now on the floor, number 25 at the line, Quinones. They went to the City Championship last year on JV and played Cardinal Hayes in the championship in a game that went to overtime, and they lost a heartbreaker. But you can't make that experience is just big experience. And Susan Wagner and Peters have that, not only from their varsity players like Barrow and guys like that who've done it before, but their JV players have played in big moments. So no moment that they're going to see over the next week is too big for them.
Absolutely.
And I used to say that about the JV game, Thanksgiving Eve, Curtis versus Peters, that one of the advantages those players had was after that game, where you're in a college gym with a big crowd, there's an advantage going into the Staten Island playoffs because you're going to start getting some crowds. And if you're fortunate to make it to the championship game, you're going to be dealing with a packed Petrides here next Friday night. Those JV players for the first time are in a college-type atmosphere, and having that Thanksgiving Eve experience definitely is an advantage for Curtis and Peters in the JV, at the JV level.
College-type atmosphere, I'll tell you, next Friday night is some of the best atmospheres you can find in general. We love these local sports events. 10 seconds on the game clock here in the third quarter, and a hard foul from two Eagle defenders. We'll see who it's on, but that's number 2, Tyree Spencer, the sophomore, driving, and he'll shoot 2.
And, Dan, you mentioned about, St. Peter's history and their legacy and all the championships they've won. But McKee's, before it was MSIT, Mckee had some unbelievable basketball teams of the past. If you look on that trophy, they've won 7 or 8 titles. I know Coach Donahue won the title in 2011 in the tournament. So you're taking 2 schools with great history, going back, 60, 70 years of high school basketball in Staten Island.
I mean, we did their alumni game, and normally the alumni game is filled with weekend warriors, and they were like, they had a real alumni game when they had it at St. Peter's. I was like, wow, there's some people here that really know how to play basketball. Usually it's like the tax man, the accountant who's strapping on Converse for the weekend. It was a sight to see, so they do something special over there in New Brighton.
The bodies may be struggling, but the mind recalls how to play the game.
Very strong. They make for good commentators, Coach.
Did anybody take a charge in that game, Dan?
A charge? No, sir.
Oh, okay.
But then again, they never took a charge when they were in high school either.
The referee just called it, though, yeah.
Well, at the line, this is Antonio Morello. He's 1 of 1 so far. Here comes the second. And he is cash with 6.2 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Seagulls will have to hurry. 2 seconds on the clock. The shot from the corner won't go. After 3 full quarters of play, our score from Petrides, St. Peter's 61 and Mckee Staten Island Tech 29. We'll be back with fourth quarter action and more with head coach Tim Gannon, Coach Danny Lee. I'm Danny Chanod from Nobody Cares Sports. Absolutely nobody cares. Back in a second. And we are about to start the fourth quarter of action. Danny Chanod from Nobody Cares Sports doing the play-by-play. Joining me in the booth this game, head coach Tim Gannon, former coach here on Staten Island, legend and active coach Danny Lee, doing a stellar job here on color commentary. Game 2 of a 4-game slate. Mckee starts us off here in the fourth quarter. A beautiful pass from Big Man, and it is swatted away this time by number 23, LaPierre, the junior.
And what's important here from Mckee, which I like coming out of the set in the fourth quarter, is you got to continue to run your stuff. You have a PSAL City playoffs coming up, so tonight wasn't your night, but I know Coach Charlie Donahue, Coach Cormac Gordon, and Coach Red Tripp are going to have them for this fourth quarter running offense, running plays that they're going to have to do if they're going to go make a run in the PSAL-A playoffs.
Listen, coaching is teaching, so you're going to take these moments and turn them into teaching moments, whether it be about sportsmanship, about conduct, about taking the loss and being a man, or whether it's about, like you said, Coach, running your offense, getting a new tweak, putting some players out there in situations. Both coaches, I'm sure, are in that mode, but certainly MSIT is in that mode.
Oh, beautiful pass to Martin in the paint and a rare miss. Seagulls come up with the board. Martin takes it right back and throws it up. He's fouled and he'll go to the line. Talk about making up for your mistake.
Yeah, you don't see Quadia miss too many bunnies in the lane like that, but he made up for it with the rip steal and going back up for an N1 opportunity. Number 24 for St. Peter's, James McCarthy, a senior, has entered the game for the first time.
Well, I spoke to Coach Woods yesterday, and we talked about the tradition of Peters in the tournament and obviously winning championships over the years. And he said he thinks his players, it's about bragging rights and high expectations. Because you look now, they're playing with intensity, they're playing the game the way it's supposed to be. They're not looking for cheap points, easy points to tell their grandmother that they scored in a game. They're doing the right thing and playing at a high level. And these guys are looking, like we saw in the first game, to send a message that they're strong and that they're ready to compete for a championship.
Oh, big lob pass down the other way. Two people home. One person's enough to find it. Up and in as Sihsl gets himself a bucket for the first time in a long time.
So, Coach, when you won 6 championships with Curtis and you had some really, really talented teams, when you were in a quarterfinals like this where you're up, say, 35, 40 points, at what point do you say, all right, I'm going to take my starters out because you're playing on Wednesday night?
It's funny you said that because one year we played literally at 5 o'clock on the day of the Super Bowl.
James McCarthy just got himself an N1 going to the line.
Tremendous drive by McCarthy. So, in a game like this, you're not going to help yourself for Wednesday night. You're going to make sure your starters don't get hurt and get pulled. But I think this is what Coach Woods is doing. He's rotating guys in, and he's also trying to keep the starters a little bit crisp. So I think typically you're going to see 2, maybe 3 starters from St. Peter's on the floor in the fourth quarter with some other guys that you're either trying to give some playing time to you or, like you said, get a little bit more prepared for Wednesday night, because that's going to be off to the races. And the ball may never touch the floor for a quarter. So, with both teams running, he's got to get more guys able to play and comfortable playing. So I think that's what he's doing right now.
And a takeaway here. Good defense, but the Seagulls get it right back. No quitting them. As Bonner's going to have to go all the way up to half court, and it's going to be a half court violation.
And for some of the viewers watching, you say to yourself, how are we going to get a Wagner-St. Peter's semifinal? Well, Farrell beat St. Peter's in the second game during the season, which ended up forcing the coin flip. And Curtis actually beat Susan Wagner in the second game, but MSIT clipped Curtis, which we didn't get a coin flip on the PSAL side, which we thought we might have got.
Martin has it blocked and the paint beautifully by Hingston. That's a sophomore. And quickly he is on defense, tenaciously up in Martin's face.
And
love it when I'm seeing.
It's great for Hingston to play against Martin. He'll get so much better. He'll learn from the experience. To play someone of Martin's quality is so good for Hingston in his development as a player.
Excellent point, as that ball is poked away, but not cleanly, as the foul this time is going to go against James McCarthy.
And on the St. Peter's side, too, as I was talking about MSIT running offense, I love the fact that St. Peter's doesn't get out of character. They're running their offense, doesn't matter what the score is. They got a good look there. McCarthy got a good look before. Morrell just got a good look, and it's all in the flow of the offense. They're not saying, oh, we're up 38 points, we're just going to turn it into a track meet, nothing of that matter, which is the St. Peter's way, which is why they win.
Right. There's a certain consistency of both respecting the opponent but also just playing the game a certain way. And I think that they're showing that today, as has been the case, for so many years when the program was in Coach Driscoll's hands.
And Sihsl's fouled as he tries to bring it across the timeline. Foul going to go against number 1 junior Scott McCormick.
And that was great Tuesday night, Coach. I saw you there where they honored Coach Driscoll for all he did for St. Peter's, not just the championships, mentoring a lot of young men. And I know you had some battles with Coach Driscoll. If you want to talk on him for a couple seconds.
I mean, just a great man. I know we talk about him as a coach, but Charlie's just a great person, a great man. We had so many battles. We always were able to shake hands and laugh about it. Afterwards, I think we always our teams treated each other with respect. And it was just fun. People used to say Curtis Peters Thanksgiving Eve. There was never a problem. There was never a problem with the crowds. There was never inappropriate chants. It was just the best.
Here's a 3 from downtown. My man is still ready, willing, and able to go in the stat column. Daniel Oyaleha. He said, you know what? I want you to say my name again. Say it correctly.
Because you've done such a good job.
It's like Muhammad Ali. Say it correctly. I'm going to have a nightmare over this. Hopefully that's correct, but he's got some shot. Nothing but net downtown.
He's played very well today. I know Mckee struggled a little bit offensively, but he's gotten to the line. He's gotten some offensive rebounds and now knocking down a three-pointer. Coach Johnny's got to be happy with the production from him today.
And they've kept playing, and they're still working their stuff, and they're working hard. You don't see the faces, you don't see finger pointing, and that's coaching. That's about the coaches doing their job to use the game to instill value. So, good job, MSIT and the coaches.
Mr. Automatic, a.k.a. Spisto, checks out after hitting 2 at the line.
Now, Chris Bedford has entered the game for St. Peter's, number 30.
MSIT with it now. Hingston, big man, running the offense through him. The kick to the corner. A 3 from downtown is no good. Quinones comes up with the board. Pushing from left to right, controlling the ball now is LaPierre, who fires a deep 3 from downtown. Last touch by the Eagles. It'll go to MSIT. You guys still having fun? You still with me or what?
Oh, always.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff, he says.
Good
I like
stuff.
it.
This is the best.
If only you could bottle this,
Just getting back to Coach Driscoll, though, you talk about a guy who just quietly did the job, whether he was a champion, whether he was second, whether he didn't have success in the tournament. He was always the same Charlie. He was good to his colleagues, the coaches. He was great to kids. His former players rave about the impact he had on them. And
getting his first time in the stat column, Chris Bedford.
Yeah, he was a class act, Coach. I mean, you can't say any much more
champion
than that. A champion, a class act. Always did the right thing by his kids and the opponents. I only got to match up with him once in my varsity career. And like you said, they beat us up pretty good, but he always did the right thing.
There would be a coaches meeting every year preseason, and he and I would have a battle about whose team was worse. We would be talking about our own teams, and it was always, we're not going to be any good this year, and he'd tell me, oh no, we stink. I said, I don't have a kid over 5'2".
Oh, beautiful pass. Quinones finishes what Bedford gave him.
And then on February 15th, it would be Peters Curtis in the final. But that's how we are, Coach, right? As coaches, I think we always look at what we don't have, just for motivation as well.
You know what? I got to just double up on that, Denny, and let you know what we do have. We have a bevy of people, a whole wide world of people out there tuned in today watching this broadcast. And sometimes you'll say, it only says 100 people watching or 200 people, whatever it may be. There's a lot of bars and restaurants out there in the community that have these games on today for their patrons. I want to give a shout-out. Flagship Brewery, I know, has the games on right now. Shout out to the bartenders down there and everybody watching. I know you guys know places on Forest Avenue.
Forest Avenue has this on.
Oh, it's all over Forest.
You can be assured.
So a big shout out to everybody out there in the community that couldn't be here today in person that gets the chance to tune in and watch.
And you know, Dan, people watching all over. My dad, Peter's grad, 1970, is watching down in Fort Myers, Florida right now. There's a lot of Staten Islanders down there, former Jake's winner, John Samarod from Farrell. So those guys are all tuned in.
Bonner bangs a three from the corner, and it won't go. Oh, big man.
Big man.
Hinkson, the sophomore. We're going to have to come up with a name for him, Coach. Perimeter of passing we're seeing from everybody wearing an Eagles jersey. It don't matter. They know the playbook. A long rebound and a second chance opportunity, but now a turnover. Mckee has it. 2:44 to go here in the fourth quarter. The three from the left wing. No.
Rebound by Chris Bedford, IS 51 grad, as well as brother Matt, pitcher at the University of Notre Dame.
And another three on this side of the court. Won't go from LaPierre. Seagulls come up with the board. Bonner in the game the whole time.
And Coach, speaking about University of Notre Dame, congratulations to you, your wife, and your son Tim heading to the University of Notre Dame in South Bend in the fall.
We're excited. So looking for the Irish to get a great replacement for Coach Bray and get an offensive coordinator, and I'm sure the academics are probably important too.
Yeah,
but,
I guess that factors in a little.
Let's keep it real about the Irish.
Touchdown, Jesus. Anyway, back to the action on the court. No, congratulations. That's awesome. St. Peter's looking to close this game out strong. They've emptied out their bench, and they've got their full roster out here on the court. The crowd loves it. That's number 20, Akeem Emeka, the senior.
Anytime your bench gets excited when when the starters get excited when a bench player scores, it means you have some nice chemistry on the team. So it was nice to see the Peters kids get excited when one of their teammates scored.
Absolutely. Hankston kicks it to the corner for Bonner, who misses a three. 1:20 remaining here in the fourth quarter of game number 2.
And for a senior like that, for Emeka, he'll remember that forever. And it'll be on YouTube forever too, right, Dan?
Oh, you know it. Until we get canceled. Which could be later today. Back to the action on the court. Oh, driving hard all the way to the lane. No foul. The basket goes. Charlie D is like, yo, where's my foul, man? Under a minute to go here in the game. And it's turned over. Mckee has it, bringing it across the timeline. Driving with the left hand, McCormick lays it in.
No quitting this MSIT team at all. These young
Not
guys.
at all.
It really is nice to see.
I'm hyped for every call. It doesn't matter what the score is. Here's a three from downtown. James McCarthy, the senior.
Nice shot by McCarthy.
22 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter.
So Susan Wagner put up a 100 spot, and St. Peter's put up 80.
Bonner nails a three from the corner. 10 seconds left in the game. Seagulls trying to trap. They don't care. I love what I see here. But it'll be the St. Peter's Eagles who are moving on by a score of 80-47. They defeat Mckee Staten Island Tech. Gentlemen, tell me about this game. Final comments.
Listen, I think it was a game of tempo, and Peters got off to their tempo. They got off to a strong start, and those are the two nightmares when you play them. Ironically, I don't think they had a great day from the outside, but Martin came to play, certainly, and I think it was driving and dishing just put Mckee in a situation where they couldn't keep up with the score.
Yeah, I think the tempo set by Spitzo, Munson, and Chi running the floor early was great. Bradley in the half court offensively was great on the baseline bounce passes. And like you said, when you have Martin finishing there underneath and in transition, it just makes for what's going to be an epic semifinals on Wednesday night between Susan Wagner and St. Peter's. Give Coach Charlie, Coach Cormack, and Coach Red a lot of credit. They fought all the way through. They didn't give up. The kids were still trapping all the way down 30 points here at the end.
Yeah,
that's a testament to them.
Yeah, to that point, I think that's what high school basketball should be about, and too often, especially lately, it hasn't been about. So, kudos to the Mckee Staten Island Tech coaching staff for giving their kids the values of knowing how to win, knowing how to lose, and knowing how to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. So kudos to them.
We're going to have Quadia Martin, star forward from St. Peter's High School, coming in here now for a post-game interview.
Martin, how are you, brother? Quadir, you had an amazing game. We're going to put this microphone right up here for you. You are the MVP of our game here in game number 2. Coach Danny Lee, why don't you start him off with a question?
Well, first of all, congratulations on the win. What were you focusing on, Coach Woods, Coach Spitzo, and the team focusing on today when coming into today's game against MSIT?
We was focusing, locking in and playing good defense because, that's our main priority, and that's how we really play well and play hard, our offensive game will come, and, I feel like we really locked in on defense, and that's what gave us a good run in the game.
So you guys, you got a berth into Wednesday night. You're going to play Susan Wagner, number 1 team from the PSAL.
Yep.
You guys tied for first, winning the CHSAA, lost a coin flip. So that puts you in this game. What do you see in Susan Wagner? They put up 100 points in the first game.
They're a really good team. They have one loss in the island over the last 2 to 3 years. Great coach, good program. We really got to lock in defensively versus them because they like to run and gun, and also we got to move the ball well versus them because we know their press is really bothering versus teams, and they put up a lot of points. So we definitely got to lock in defensively for that game.
Hey, man, you played a great game today. We're going to see you on Wednesday night. We hear it's going to be a packed house. This is your first time playing in the Staten Island High School League tournament?
Yep.
So are you excited or what?
I'm definitely excited. Watching my brothers playing this, I always wanted to play in this. My time has finally come. I want to show and prove.
Man, we appreciate you taking the time here. Best of luck to you the rest of the way in this tournament.
Congratulations.
That's Quadir Martin. He's our player of the game here in game number 2. Absolutely fantastic performance today. Joining us next in the broadcast booth, we're going to have head coach Ryan Woods in the booth for just a second. And we're happy to have Ryan in the booth because he's the new head coach of the St. Peter's Eagles, taking over for legendary head coach Charlie Driscoll. And Ryan Woods, first time at the helm, making his appearance here at the Staten Island High School League tournament. Welcome to the broadcast, Ryan.
How you doing, gentlemen?
Doing absolutely fantastic. It's good to see you. Listen, congratulations on the win. First win for you as a head coach of the Staten Island High School League tournament. How's it feel?
Feels great. Very proud of the boys. Competed and played tough against a talented and physical MSIT team, well coached. I'm just happy with the boys, happy with the way they came out, and happy with the way they were focused from the jump.
That's my question. You can take it over, Coach.
So I'm glad you're happy, and let's get past the happiness now. So you've enjoyed that win for about 30 seconds.
That's right.
Tell me now, as you look ahead, seeing a team very similar in play to you folks in Susan Wagner on Wednesday night, and knowing how you played very talented and fast and quick teams over the course of the season, how do you feel going into Wednesday night?
Yeah, we understand that Wednesday is going to be a battle. They're fast, they're quick, they're athletic, they're relentless in the full court. We've got to prepare for that. We've got to get ready for that type of tempo and that defensive focus. And tonight was a good start to it. It allowed us to see a little bit different defenses, 1-3-1, 2-3, the press. So back to the drawing board. No time to relax too much, Coach. You know how it works. So back to it and getting ready for Wednesday night.
I love it. Danny, what do you got for him? Anything?
Well, Coach, as a former, not only Jake's winner, but you won the tournament, what does this mean to the kids? We missed it for 2 years. You being a former MVP, how much does this tournament mean not only to you, but to St. Peter's, the school, and the program?
D. Lee, you're the man, brother. I just tried to reiterate to the boys all week. It's a special week. It's a special 10 days. Soak it all in, enjoy it. I talked about still maintaining relationships with guys that I won the championship with. We, still talk, still reminisce, and it's a really special week. I'm so happy that the board, including yourself, Coach, put this wonderful event back together, and just enjoy it. Be in the moment, stay in the moment, have fun, and hopefully we come out on top. It's exciting.
Great stuff, Coach. We wish you the best of luck along the way, and we're going to see you on Wednesday night.
Gentlemen, you guys are phenomenal. Thank you for keeping this rolling. You're tremendous.
That's all these guys next to me.
Thank you.
Good job. Well, that was Ryan Woods, and we're going to be back with the third game on the slate. The Curtis Warriors against the St. Joseph by the Sea Vikings. Can you believe it? I can't. More high school sports when we come back. Nobody cares, baby.
Good job. That was fun.